Right, we are ready to again. I'll just pick up off the that same reason that we was having about how all human beings are full of shit. Now, the reason why for that kind of explanation of human being is to humble the human being. You understand what I mean? So that means if a human being have 1 billion pieces of paper and a lot of metal and wear some expensive clothes, you know what I mean? The human being would still realize that, oh, I am still full of shit, just like any other human being. So that would make you more humble and don't puffed up yourself in pride, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like I say, we are all shits. You understand? Anyway now, to move out of the shit, I think we'll touch on human beings and their beliefs. You know what I mean? Are you human beings who believe in whatever religion it is that you are believing in? You know what I mean? I wonder if you really like how you are educated, if you ever look in the dictionary to see what the word believe really mean. Because believing and knowing is two different things. So when we examine religion in its outward form, we find that people are believers. But if you question them about this belief, which they don't like anyone questioning them about what they believe, but when you question them about what it is they believe, they do not know. What they actually believe is what has been handed down to them over a generation of time. So, if you come into the world as an example, your mother believed that Jesus was born of a virgin birth, so she teach this to you. So, no one has ever stopped and questioned these beliefs that they have to see if it's correct or if it's not correct. Now, whether the believer want to accept it or not, every believer on this planet are believing in nonsense, not sense. You know what I mean? Because if you really did know God, you wouldn't have to believe in God, like I tell you. And if God is in his universe here, there and everywhere, and he's not hiding, what is the point of spending all your life believing in God? Why don't you get to know God? You see what I mean? No, I am not a believer in God. That's why if anybody else says, oh, you believe in God, I always say no, because I don't believe in God. I know God. You know what I mean? That means I am 100 billion zillion % certain that God is dwelling in man. I don't believe in this. You see what I mean? I know this. Just like how I know that there's a camera pointing at my eyes. You see, and I can see it. This is just the same way I am 200,000 billion trillion % certain again to come back to. I like to deal with certainty and not just a little bit of certainty. You know, like 100%. I like a lot of percentage certain. Yeah? That the terrible and dreadful one, Rastafari, is dwelling within our beings that are living now. Not only the beings, let me put it this correctly, not only the beings that are living now in this time, but our beings who live in the past and any beings who shall live in the future. You know what I mean? So that is one thing that I know. That is not anything to believe. You see what I mean? Because the believer now is believing, because I reckon the believer is believing because the believer do not want to do the work to know God. You know what I mean? Because you cannot believe in God. You understand? You have to know God. And to know God, you have to, that means you have to self-discipline. You know what I mean? You have to make sure that, like I tell you, you have to recover innocency where you are now behaving like an innocent child, where you are free from greed, hate, lust, jealousy, all these kind of negative you are now striving to remove from out of your character. You see what I mean? Now when you're doing that, you can't be believing. You know what I mean? This is not this work, like I say, knowing is not for believers. You know what I mean? At first you could believe, but when you find out that your belief is nonsense, you should get out of the house of belief. Why should one live all their life in the house of belief? Ask yourself one question. Do you really believe, if you are a believer, that God created you just to believe? So why would he have knowing then? Why you say, oh, you reckon God don't want you to know? No, that's madness. It is those people who are, and like I say, I was watching a program the other day, and they described the inner as the esoteric and the outer as the exoterrorist. Yeah, that's what outward religious movements are. Terrorists of the human soul. So instead of schooling the soul and directing the soul to self-development, they arrest the soul. They literally tell the human that, listen, you don't search for salvation yourself, because we've got it. In fact, you are a sinner. You are not worthy, you know what I mean, to use your own mind. And if you should use your own mind, you would be blaspheming. Yeah, because they will tell you, thou shalt not judge. That's what they say, thou shalt not judge. But how are you going to make a decision if you cannot judge? You see what I mean? So I am not afraid of judging. You know what I mean? I am not afraid of telling human beings that, listen, if you are a believer, you are in darkness, complete darkness. In that darkness is the light, but you do not comprehend that light. You know what I mean? But the very fact that you are living as a believer, because put it plainly straight, a believer now is just trusting in what somebody else say, while not understanding what their own self are, will never trust their own being, their own intelligence that God has given to them. Rather, they would rather trust what Plato say, or what somebody say, Jesus say, or what the Buddha say. But what about your own intelligence? You know what I mean? You too can know. Do you really believe then, if you are a believer, that God created us? Eh? For some of us to know and some not to know. Why would he want to deny knowing to any being? Why would God want to deny the sunlight to any particular being? No. So the truth is not being denied to no particular being. You understand? But because of the way that we live on earth, and because, like I say, some of the brothers has decided to break the law of God then, and has set up their own idiotic law here on earth against the law of the living God. Yeah, that's what they've done. And you even have experts here who say they are law professors of negativity. That's what they are doing. They are expert in the negativity, because there is only one law in the universe. Yes, man. So it's not two laws, you know. There's only one law in this universe. So that means if you find any law anywhere against this law, that law must be wrong. You understand? So the laws of man cannot be right. Obviously they have some, they could not put all wrong in the law. A little bits of right here, but it's wrong, totally wrong. That's why you have to be making so many amendments to the law. But trust me, from God made his law in the beginning, you know, in the beginning, like you lay a road down, it's been perfect. No need for God to make amendment to the law. God's law is one law. eternal, perfect, from it was in the beginning, right through. You understand? So he didn't have to send anyone to alter the law or to do anything at all. You know what I mean? God didn't have to. Why would God have to send somebody when he's present within his own universe all the time? You tell me this. Why would God have to send me if he's here? You know what I mean? So, like I'm trying to tell the people who don't know then, those who believe. Here's somebody who know now. God is present in his universe, if you want to call it that, earth, all the time. And he's been present within human being from whenever human being has been stepping up on the earth. You understand? And he's been talking to them every day, every minute, every second. They're just not listening. You see what I mean? Are they're just not looking in the right place. You've been diverting away from yourself to search for God outside and to look for satisfaction outside of yourself. You understand? I was watching a program today on Conscious TV. A lady was reminding, said that Jesus says the kingdom of heaven is within you. You understand? In other words, then, the terrible and dreadful God, Rastafari himself, the High General, is within you. But you're not listening. But for a man who know now, like I tell you, because I'm a bad soldier, fierce. So, for a man like me, you know, this is not a matter of, oh, I have feel the one, you know, I have heard the one. No, this soldier is a step further, where I have seen the terrible and dreadful one himself, Rastafari. So, having seen the one, now you know why I say I am a bad soldier. Don't take that as if it is a brag. One cannot brag and boast in God. I am just stating a fact. You understand? So it is a fact before man and before God. And don't forget, a man cannot hide his intention from God. So why would I want to sit in front of a camera telling lies? You know what I mean? I am not looking to recruit souls, you know. I haven't got no organization, and I'm not organizing any. You understand what I mean? I am just here to advise human beings that within you is the terrible and dreadful God. I am not concerned about your religion, you know, whatever religion you want to come from. I am not concerned whether you want to be a black man, white man, whether you want to be a Japanese or a Chinese or a Indian. You understand what I mean? I don't even care whether you want to be a male or a female. You see me? When I say you see me, I mean, do you understand what I mean? I do not care who or what you are, or what denomination you want to come from, or you belongs to. I am your teacher. You understand? Because I am a bad boy. I am not only your teacher here on earth, but anywhere within the universe. You understand? It will, when I say do you understand, get it clear in your mind who I am is, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes when people speak, it's just like I tell you before, just because Jesus uttered the word, I am the way and the light. You know how much confusion that brought to a lot of people. Because now they think that Jesus is I am. No human that cometh out of a woman is I am. You understand? I don't really know if these humans will really understand who I am is. I am is not like a man. I am a man sitting in this chair talking. Yeah? I am only in one place at one time. I am is in everywhere at every time, in every man and every woman. How could one man be I am? That is why I say, you see, God is a magician, but he's still one even though he's in all these many. You know what I mean? Terrible and dreadful is that one. Yeah, so because I am, like I tell you, a 9th grade bad boy soldier, and I don't think black won't believe it, white won't believe it, no one won't believe it. But I tell you anyway, I have seen the one. So that is why I know that It doesn't matter what you are doing here on the earth. I can guarantee you this. Whether you want to claim that you are a Mason, an Illuminati man, or whatever secret society you are in, yeah, and you are hiding away in the dark. Because naturally human beings are in the dark anyway, you know, because you cannot see another human being. But within that darkness, shineth a light that you do not comprehend. Now this light is lighting you up in all your action and all your deeds. You understand what I mean? Well, that is the all-seeing eye of the terrible and dreadful one, Rastafari himself. The High General. That's how I like to call you. You know what I mean? I like to boast about God, how dreadful God is anyway, and how smart he is, you know. Imagine putting a black box in human being. That's one thing I love, the black box in human being, to record all the deeds. And fancy now, only God could think of death, setting up death in this atmosphere. Because truthfully, death is the master here. It's always on your shoulder, you know what I mean? So it would be good, like I tell human beings, to converse with death. You know, because if you really understand it, you wouldn't be that terrified, you know. No, you wouldn't be that terrified. Because death cometh only to the physical. Death is the master of the of matter. You understand? And the physical is matter, so that belongs to death. But in between living and dying, there's a lot you can do. You see, you could alter, you could change some of what you got on your memory. You know, fancy going somewhere. Fancy you was going abroad. Yeah, you're going on a trip, and you don't pack no suitcase and carry no clothes with you. That to me, that is the stupidity, idiocy. You know what I mean? You just go on your trip empty-handed. Well, what I'm trying to tell you now, life is a trip. You see? You are on a trip. Which fool would go on a trip without making preparation and bringing, you know what I mean? You see? Because you're going on a trip. And I tell you, when you come out the body, you'll be going on this trip. Make sure you are prepared. You know what I mean? Now, the best way for preparing for the trip is to make sure that when you are here on earth living, you know what I mean? They have some people. Imagine there was people lying on the ground and there was spaces between the people. And you could actually walk between them to get where you are going. No, but you have some people now, instead of doing that, they wouldn't even walk on the people's back. They walk on the heads to get where they are going. You see what I mean? So there is movements in life. You know what I mean? How you do things, why you do things, the reason. All these things are being monitored by the black box itself. You know what I mean? And well, from what God showed me, no being can defeat the black box, you know. Well, you know, God is a funny. Well, I don't know. How can I, like I say, God is like water. You'll have to taste God. You know, I cannot describe it to you. But then again, God could be just like a man who you're reasoning with as well. You see what I mean? And then God is not a man that you could reason with. God is, you can know God. But when you really check it out, you can't know God. Because God is as deep as the universe. I want to see the being or the mind who could comprehend that. You see what I mean? So it's best not to know God. Well, say not to know. It's best to know God, but it's best to know that you don't know God, if you know what I mean. Because you don't know that God is a mystery. You know what I mean? I am a mystery, you know. So imagine if you will start by this mystery then, which I will start by God himself, you know. This is how I know these things. This is how I am able to penetrate the souls of beings You understand? Because coming back to a story here now, after coming to England as a bad boy soldier from Jamaica, arriving and being kicked out, I eventually end up in a town called Oldham, right up here in the hills. It's a very high, I hear them say it's one of the highest point in England. And in Jamaica, we like Rastaman love the hills. So I am actually resting up in the hills in a town called Oldham. Yeah, and the image of the town is the owl. You see me? Guardian of wisdom. Yeah, and their motto in this town is, he who dares to be wise. How could you tell a thing like that to a bad boy general? You see, so once I find that out, I decided that yes, I am the man who is daring to be wise. You know, I tell you about Jamaica, they're a bit mental, and so am I. So anyway, I decided that yes, I am daring to be wise. So because I was a very daring soul, you know what I mean extraordinary daring, I managed to capture the vision of the owl. Now, the owl symbolizes a bird that, like I tell you, it can literally see behind itself. And it can also see in the dark. Night vision, you know. So, when you spiritually capture the vision of the owl, you are able to see within the human beings. So that's why I'm able to tell human beings now. As an example, stop hiding behind your names. You know when you're calling yourself, like my friend here, Marius now, Polish, German, Russian, Scottish, English, Irish, Zimbabwean, South African, this one, Arab, you know, Persian, Japanese, Chinese. All those are just names. You are nothing more than a human being. You understand? You can't be anything else. When you claim that you are a Jew, it's as if you would like to give I and I the impression that you are a different human being. But because I have the inner vision, which you don't seem to understand, you are nothing more than a spirit. Because spirit have no color, you know. We don't have a color. This is how backward. Hold on. Let's have a drink of water. This is, I need to delve into the backwardness of human beings and some of their behavior. Now, there is no boundary on the earth. It's one. Yeah? But some human beings have created borders and countries. Eh? Well, so they say, because there is no barrier, but they have an invisible line where say this is Russia, this is America and all that. Now, these countries stitch some material together, cloth, and paint whatever color they paint on it. And this now they claim is their national flag. Every one of them have them. You will see this idiocy in the Olympics. Yeah? Now, they get the citizen, the human being who's got a mind now, to pay allegiance to the flag. Yeah? They get you now to be patriotic about a very tiny part of the earth, wherever it is you come from, China, Russia, yeah? So now, whenever they play their national anthem and they wave their flag, you become so passionate about your flag and your country and so proud that you don't notice that what they are doing is compartmentalizing you in a very small part of your mind so that you cannot see the whole. You know, everyone who is patriotic are like people who are believers. Patriotic people are some of the most idiotic beings that has ever existed on the planet. Well, you can be patriotic, you know, you can love the whole planet. And I'm not saying that you don't love where you was born. Because if you was born in England, of course you're going to love England. But loving England is a different thing from being patriotic. You understand? You just love where you come from. Even if you went, if I was born in England and I went to Jamaica and live, even though Jamaica was sunny and nice and everything, you know, Dolly, you know, I would still feel a pull for home. Which is I was born in England. Just like I was born in Jamaica, you know. I'll always feel an attachment to Jamaica, you know what I mean? And just like how I know my ancestor wasn't born in Jamaica but Africa, I will always have a link with Africa. You see what I mean? But that's a different thing from being patriotic. You see, you love the area where you come from, but you also have the deeper love to understand that this part where you come from is just a part of the one earth. You understand? So you free the mind from that restriction of when you see somebody else come at this part of your earth saying, oh, this person is a foreigner. There can be no foreigner on this planet. Get that into your idiotic head. You know, it's only earth beings on this planet. Unless, well, I don't know if there's any alien. I haven't seen them. They're probably around, but you know what I mean? When we see, that's why we call them aliens. Meaning they come from a different planet. You know what I mean? We can, instead of calling them aliens, we should call them foreigners. Because that's what foreigners are. Foreign to this earth. But how can me as a man come to England and a man calling me a foreigner? Unless that man lack a certain intelligence. Maybe he's got what I would say outintelligence. But surely if he had intelligence, he would straight away realize that I am a earth man. You see what I mean? So that's why I will tell any man as a Rasta man than as a normal human being. Even though I have my attachment to Jamaica and from Africa, I am not defending these places. I am defending earth. One earth. You see me? Because when you is a Rasta then, as I and I see Rasta, you have to imitate God. And then you don't know, it's not hard to imagine that God love everything. Because why would God create things and hate what he create? You see? So you just use, because God give you the imagination to do this. So you just have to know that God create everything and love everything. So you just love everything. Because you're trying to imitate God. You understand? So we don't just go and love a part of the earth and pay allegiance to it, be it Africa or China. You know? Big bad soldier love the whole earth. And we don't make anyone tell us anything about, oh, there is black and white people on the earth and Chinese and Japanese and them thing there, you know? We don't know so them thing there is just when people is due to lack of education. Surely God couldn't have educated you this way to tell you that, oh, there is black people and Chinese people and all these, you know? This can't be God education, you know that for sure. So you find out that when you get God education now, which is a different education from just what believers are drumming in your head, what they hear. The real God teaching that conscience can teach you if you decide to listen. You know what I mean? Because it look as if in the hectic business of life, the voice of conscience get drowned out. You know what I mean? Because the eyes are seeing a lot of things, and the eyes bring desire to the soul, and you know what I mean? In the hustle and bustle of life, one can easily lose their way. You know what I mean? One have to be focused to really grasp what is right and correct in all the confusion. You could use a scenario like, imagine you have to cross the ocean, eh? Well, we know that one thing for crossing the ocean, we cannot go in a little mashed up old dinghy. We need a reliable craft. You understand? Because the ocean is not always calm. Sometimes it's, you can be, all a storm could hold you out in the ocean. So you need a reliable ship if you're going to cross the ocean. You see what I mean? Well, that ocean itself is life. And the ups and downs and turmoil within life itself. You see what I mean? And to cope and get through all this now, you need a reliable mind. You see what I mean? Now, how are you going to make the mind reliable? You know what I mean? Because we all have a mind. But that doesn't mean all our mind are reliable. No, we have to make the mind reliable by self-discipline. You understand? Because if your mind is running about just sexing about, just after money and greed and all these things, that is not going to be self-discipline. You know what I mean? A mind like that now, when a ship like that, when it set sail, with the first storm come along, will crash it, and start taking on board water and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? So you need a mind that is self-discipline. You know what I mean? That means now, it's not that this mind ain't going to have problem. It probably have more problem. You see what I mean? Understanding what is right ain't going to make life more easier for you. You probably encounter more problems. Like as if the devil, as if what would call the devil, say, all right then, something like Job. Yeah, you think that you are so we'll test you some more. You see what I mean? But then, this is when you will find out if your boat is reliable or not to cross the great ocean. You know what I mean? But you ain't going to make no progress on this journey, like I say, without self-discipline. And to repeat again now, no one can self-discipline you. You understand? You have to self-discipline you. Because only you know your own little, what I call negative faults. You understand? Only you and the terrible and dreadful one that dwell within you. Because the master me said nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah, God know everything, man. God is smart and we cannot hide anything from God. Please remember that when you're dealing with God, there is no night time. You know what I mean? Like how you have night and day come at here. God light shine it all the time within man. Or when I say within, well, you can't see within man, but in the darkness that the souls, if that's what you want to call yourself, or the spirit, in the darkness that you dwell, there shineth a light that you comprehend it not. Because you're too busy looking outside of yourself. You know what I mean? When I say you're busy looking outside of yourself, imagine God is within man, yeah? And most men are searching for God, like I say, either in a book. Because God is not in a book, Yeah, no, God is not in a book. You can read about God in a book, but God ain't in a book. Now, you might think that God is in some particular spot on the earth that you call holy spot or fault line or, special energies are in these spots. So lots of people are going to these spots to see if they can get some energize and get close to God. Well, why you running all outside yourself, all this place and doing all them things when God is really within your own self? You see what I mean? So you find that, just like I'm telling you, instead of people sitting around meditating and doing whatever, you know what I mean? If you just live honestly, truthfully, with a clean intention, with a love for the truth that burn like at the center of an atomic bomb. The heat, that generation. That means your heart is pulsating and beating for your love of truth. You know what I mean? You don't have to meditate. You know what I mean? You don't have to do nothing to get close to God, because God is already close. You know what I mean? All you have to do is to live honest.